And good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing on this fantastic New York session? It is Tuesday. This is the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you all become better traders. On the docket today, we're going to be watching Ethereum, Bitcoin. Mr. Bitcoin did fill its gap that it had open when the weekly open on the CME chart. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at a few other things. We're going to take a look at USD JPY, USD CAD, Euro USD, and a few other things. So let's get this show on the road. All right, so currently, for the major, or let's just say this current week's analysis, you have a pop. Essentially, I got long on Ethereum at the weekly open, expecting, a little bit of a pop, seeing how the last 2 weeks have been extremely bearish. So not really looking for bullish continuation, just kind of looking for a little bit of a bounce. That trade has been extremely successful, and I am barely sitting in any of it left. Like, basically what I have left on the position is very small. I could literally close it out, and it wouldn't do much, you know what I mean? Because all the money's been made. But we are currently looking at a new setup. All right, so what you see on the chart right here, obviously you see a descending wedge. These are typically looked at with bullish breakout potential. Not always, but typically you can see that you do have a pretty good wedge forming up right here. This yellow and green line is the Fibonacci retracement of last week's range. Or actually that looks like yesterday's, or that big bearish day's range. There you go. There's last week's range. You're currently testing or have tested the 618 retracement of that range. We currently have intraday resistance being formed. If we go over here to the hourly chart, you can see boom, boom, boom. That's your last up closed candle before you have seen 2 consecutive hours of pullback. We are currently watching 1586 spot 97 for potential short entries. We are not looking for a massive downside push. We just think that right around in this area, we're going to see a little bit of a pullback, simply because the gap has been filled. Now, if I pull up the session volume point of control, you can see that most of the volume is being traded at around the top of the daily range. So what does that typically mean? Well, it means a lot of people are coming in here trying to short this thing down because of ascending or descending trendline resistance, as well as the midpoint or the 618 retracement of last week's range. Now, typically, this is a good spot to watch for intraday trades. I do have a current bias of looking for a little bit more topside, but in order for me to change my bias on the daily, I got to see a 50 test on the RSI. It needs to get back above it. As long as you're below it, in my opinion, in my style of trading, the bears are in control of the asset. Also, as well, the 21 exponential. It's pretty good ways away from current price. So, a push up into there would still be considered decent shorts. But we're going to see what happens here. Like I said, if you break out of this descending wedge, typically you're going to see a pretty good size breakout. And I would need to see a good size breakout before I could change my bias currently. I do think the lows are in. On Ethereum, you can see that you're not even anywhere close to those lows. But Bitcoin's a whole different story. Bitcoin has been a laggard or the leader, depending on which side of the market you were on. If you were looking for downside, then you were right for the last 2 weeks. Here is the current low of this structure, and we are really close to it. We have the monthly close coming up in tomorrow, right? Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the monthly close. Current monthly support, $19,985. We've been watching this price since this week started. All right. You can see here Sunday you did get a close under monthly support. That's okay because it's just a weekly candle. But also on Bitcoin, it doesn't look nearly as good as Ethereum, as you have not even tested the 50% retracement of last week's range. Whereas Ethereum, you've already tested the 618 retracement of last week's range. A lot of people were saying, oh, let's go over here real quick to Ethereum because we are currently getting the signal that we were looking for right now. So basically, here is hourly resistance. I want to see that hold for downside. If you get an hourly close above that, Then we'll wait for the very next hour to see if that ends up becoming a trap or not. So we'll see what happens. There's a good spike up into it right there. On Bitget, that price is currently $1,591, and it's $1,592 here on this exchange, which happens to be the Coinbase exchange. But an hourly close below this white line, which just started a new fresh hour, so you got time. But that is typically where you want to take your entry. If we start to fall away from it, let me get over here on a different thing, so that way I could potentially take this short. I still do have that long position on the Tether side of the Bitget platform, but right now I'm going to be looking to take a short on the USDC side of the platform. 1592 would be a decent place to look for that. Well, let's see here. You got to manage this risk. Currently, for a fresh spike up into that trend line, so you could probably manage your risk right there. Entry would have been that white line, or wait till the next hour, see how this closes. I leave that up to you guys, right? I'm not telling you where to buy and where to sell. I'm telling you where I'm looking to take positions. Sometimes I'm already in those positions. Sometimes I'm not, right? And that's not what we do here. What we do here is I'm showing you how to analyze these charts every single day, so that way you can take the best trades for you yourself. This way, you don't need to pay for anybody's courses and stuff like that. You can just use the best strategy on the face of the planet to make consistently profitable trades. And that was the goal when starting the channel. So it's up to you if you take these entries or not. All right, or not. It's what I am doing. I am looking for a short. I've already discussed the reasons why, and it is just a near-term down day, right? I'm not looking for any massive downside. Just looking for at least a push back down under the point of control. If we can get down to this little white area, or this little yellow line right there, 1565.13, that'd be a fantastic place to look to take profits. So yeah, it looks like that is already going to be the entry. May have missed it. You can watch 1586.97, this current white line right here, for any retest potential short entries. I leave that up to you if you want to take it or not. Stop above the high of this candle right there. So you don't need a really big move in order to make a profitable trade. So this would have been the entry, control. So this way I can get it up here. Just leave it there. You can see that you just need to get to there, essentially, to have a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Very precision trading. Entries that are so precise, you don't need big moves. That's the goal. And then you can, if you think you're going to see more downside, if you think that the lows are not in, the bear market is going to continue, and you're going to see fresh yearly lows on Bitcoin, Ethereum, SPX, any risk assets, then this would be a pretty decent spot to hold that short position. All right, but you definitely want to take profits to eliminate the majority of your risk by taking 2/3 of the position off or half of the position off. That's up to you. I do 2/3, roughly anywhere between 60 and 70% of the position. I close it out. This means that I've already been paid for the risk that I took, and now I will just sit in it without any risk on the table, minus the unrealized P&L, right? Obviously, if you have any money unrealized in the market, that is, you are risking that currently, right? So, but the major goal is to get your original risk out of the market, because that's your money. So by taking profits on a 2-to-1 risk to reward move, 1-to-1 risk to reward move, I don't care where you take profits, just if you get in the position, make sure your risk is defined. Currently, you do not want to risk more than 2% on any entry, because you're going to take a few entries per week. So if you're risking 2% and you make 2 losses or 3 losses in a row before actually making money, your account's going to be down 6 or 8%. And a 6 to 8% decline on any account is a big decline. So I suggest you do less than that. With crypto, I usually risk about 2 to 3%. Just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But FX, whenever I take an FX trade, I am never, ever, ever risking more than 1% per trade, because you lose a lot of trades. So I want to add an alert right there. because we are going to kind of briefly go away from this because we want to watch the dollar as well this morning. USD JPY, we were looking for potential longs on this, but we did get a breakdown. But as you can see, once we made a fresh daily low, we are trading well above the high of this candle. So this is a potential long setup on USD JPY. Now, here's something. If the dollar remains strong on the day, then we should see Bitcoin and Ethereum pull off a little bit. Up here, you can see Ethereum was up 2.34% on the day. Bitcoin is up 0.60% on the day. So the math dictates that if we want to take a short trade, then Ethereum would be the best asset to do so because there's potentially more room to the downside, right? To become zero or at the open of the day, you don't even get a 0.5% on Bitcoin, whereas you'll make 2% on Ethereum if that happens. This would be the potential entry currently if you were looking for longs USD JPY. This asset is extremely stretched out to the upside. You are currently fighting with a few areas of resistance, the main one being weekly resistance there. Yesterday, you can see you tagged daily resistance and you are pulling back today. Yesterday was a very strong day. So we were kind of looking for that to continue after the pullback, after the fresh daily low. We were watching near-term support. This hour closed under near-term support, so basically scrapped any trade idea. Now we're going to watch the current hourly support, which is here. Typically, you would have taken a bullish entry there once you've taken out the high of the trap candle. This isn't a trap candle. That would have been the trap because this candle is the one that broke down below support. However, as long as you're trading above yesterday's low, which is right there, you're in decent shape for bullish continuation. So there's potentially two areas here for entries. Stop right below that swing low right there. Because if you make a fresh low on the day, then you are trending lower on the day and you are wrong on your bias or your direction. The one that we liked the most was USD CAD. This thing is into quite a lot of resistances as well. And this resistance has been resistance for quite a long time. Yeah, it's a choppy, nonsensical mess here, but we got it all planned out already. Down there is going to be weekly demand. Daily is here. That is old daily support or also daily demand. You can see how today's range, you traded down to it. That is where we were looking for bullish entries. Now, if I pull back over here to the intraday time frame, you can see that we did not quite get a test of daily demand. All right, so we didn't get our entry, essentially, right? Now, this is still red on the day, 0.05%. Typically, when I'm looking to get long, I want an asset to be up on the day. You also notice that USD JPY is down 0.31% as well. So both of these could be shorts still today, not like fresh short positions, but the trade, the daily range could still be looking for lower prices, and then maybe tomorrow gives us that bullish opportunity. So keep USD CAD, USD JPY on your watch list. The entry on USD CAD was going to be here, and you can see that we did not get the retest of it. It just traded away. So you're going to miss trades. No matter how good your strategy is, you're going to miss trades. All right, back over here to Ethereum because this is the one that we're currently wanting to see fail. Once again, you got 46 minutes left on this hourly time frame. A close above 1592 spot 44 means we scrap the trade and wait for the 10 o'clock candle, not the 9 o'clock candle, because the 9 o'clock candle, well, it could be the 9 o'clock candle. Apologies, it's 8 o'clock now. Sorry, I thought I'm a little bit later. I'm running a little bit late in my own mind. So yeah, if this candle closes above, we'll wait for the next candle to see if it makes that candle a trap. But that's your entry there. Where you decide to put your stop loss is up to you. Current high of day is sitting roughly at $1,606. So you got a big figure there, a rough $1,600. Another reason why we're kind of looking for downside continuation. This was a pretty good sized volatile candle, but it wasn't nothing compared to your expansion that you got at midnight. So, I mean, the asset is bullish, right? You can see that it's up 2.4% on the day. So be careful, right? Manage your risk always. Manage your risk. Risk is the most important part of trading. Learning how to manage that and keep those losses small is what will make you become a successful trader. Right now, we're kind of trading in the middle of both of the potential entry areas. 1586.46 on the Bitget platform, 1591 spot 22 on the Bitget platform. This is 1592 spot 44, but this is the top. We do not want to see it close above that. We want to see this start to slowly drift away. It does look like people are trying to buy it, looking for bullish breakout potential, and it is there. Right? It is there. I would much rather, or I feel much better about this position if that point of control was actually higher on the candle. But since it's right there under intraday support, or at, I guess you could say it's not under, because this close is the lowest close for the last several hours. That's going to be intraday support there. And you can see that it has been tested multiple times. So let's get rid of the trend line. Let's get rid of the fibs. Let's get rid of a lot of this stuff. All right, so we currently know that that's where we're looking for bearish entries. This is intraday support. So boom, tested, bounced. This one traded as an inside candle, and now we're currently have taken out the high of this candle. So this line is under attack. That is the line in the sand for bearish entries. All right, so that's basically what we're looking for. An hourly closure below this also is going to look very good, as that is intraday supply. Intraday supply. All right, so yeah. Hello everyone, says Oliver. Good morning, good morning. SPX back under yesterday's high. Yep, good morning. Dump this puppy. Heath trying to. Good morning, Tom. Watch it just dump without giving a retest. No, usually you're going to get a retest. And in my experience, price will usually screw with your brain for a good 30 minutes before you get the move lower. So yeah, if you got your stop just above that swing high right there, it's still in good shape, and you would be targeting just right there for your 2-to-1 risk to reward. As soon as price tags 1577, you take 2/3 of the position off. You move your stop to break even, because this asset is bullish and you're trying to take a counter trend trade. But with the weakness we've seen the last 2 weeks, a lot of people is going to be looking for new shorts. Good morning, Ray. Ray says this music makes me want to rap. We shortened Bitcoin to 0. I'm going to be a hero. Spend it all in the casino. Biatch. I think you need to rhyme something other than 0 and hero. Come on, you can do better than that. I'm not a rapper. I can't, so it's up to you. Good morning, Cassidy. Good morning, Will. What's up, you absolute bosses? Yeah, they are legends. Everybody in this room are legends. And if you're not yet, you will be. Just stick around. We're just getting started. Smash the likes for our boy. Yeah, if you don't mind it, go ahead and crush them. 1592 is hit. Yes, it has been. Multiple times, but actually, to be fair, it's been hit one time since we've been talking about the trade, right? So far, hourly resistance or 5-minute resistance is currently holding, but you can see how glitchy and splotchy these candles are. So you don't want to go on 5-minute charts. You want to go off hourly charts. Please get off the 5-minute time frame. It's cool to watch it while we're doing a live stream, obviously. Probably be a little bit boring if we just sat and watched hourly candles all morning. But yeah, that was your chance there, or here is also your chance. But taking the trade here obviously makes your risk bigger, meaning you will need a bigger downsize move in order to capitalize. All right, order to capitalize. We're doing pretty good. Looks good so far, right? We have a fresh hourly low, which is good. That's what we want to see. 1577 will be your take profit if you took entry here at 1592. If you've got your entry lower than 1592, then you will need a little bit lower. You're not aiming for the low of day, because your low of day is all the way down here. You're up 2 point something % on the day. 2.8%. So, yeah, can't aim for the low of the day. Whenever you get to 2 to 1, wherever your risk is, that's when you take your profits. 1.5 to 1, 1 to 1, 2 to 1, all those are valid trades to take. And selling options, you're going to find, if you ever start selling options, that you're never going to see a risk to, not very frequently is there ever going to be a risk to reward in your favor. That's why selling option strategies is, has a very high hit rate. It's because you're constantly risking way more than you could potentially make. So selling options doesn't have a good risk to reward as far as risk to reward is concerned on individual trade entries, but over time they have a much better success rate. Some option selling strategies, not all of them, but some of them. And option selling strategies are very risky, expensive moves if you're wrong on your direction. But you can take non-directional bias trades by selling options. Good morning, good afternoon, good evenings. USD CAD tested daily demand on Oanda. Yeah, I know. If you think this could be just a pullback day on Bitcoin, then are you still looking at 28 for turning point or higher? I mean, I've answered that question probably 16 times today in the Discord alone. If you're looking for long positions on Bitcoin, you do not want to see a daily close below that. It's the same exact candle structure on Ethereum, but Bitcoin's is obviously a little bit different. That is going to be your demand on the daily. So if you close the daily under it, then that would be suggestive that you're probably going to come down and test daily support. So a tag of this level and then a bounce would have you still be looking for potential bullish entries. Obviously, this thing has not been bullish for the last 2 weeks. So trying to buy this asset, you are against the near-term trend. You are under the 50. You are under the 21. These are parameters that we discuss multiple times a day, every single day. If you are below the 21, you are not bullish. You are bearish. The near term is bearish. This is a trend indicator, and it lags price. So if price is trading under it, typically the bears are in control. Price is trading above it, then the bulls are in control. Then you look for pullback support entries. Right now we're looking for resistance, and we will be looking for resistance until we get an obvious bullish breakout, right? Here is Ethereum. Obvious bullish breakout means if you do break out above this, well, not that, not even that. Where was it? Something like that. It's not perfect. If you do get an obvious bullish breakout, you're going to break out above the 21. You're going to break out above the 50. You're going to break out above supply. You're going to break out above resistance. You're going to break out above the swing high. You need that to happen before you can look for longs. If you're getting long now, you have to understand that you're trying to take an entry based on something that you think may happen in the future. You think you know what's going to happen. That's not how you trade. You trade by taking the highest probable entries, right? Currently, with structure we have, even though yesterday was a bullish engulfing, the current structure is still lined up to the downside. Until you break all this stuff, until you're trading above 1667, you're still structured bearishly. It's up to you to decide if you want to be bullish or bearish, not me. I'm showing you how to trade. I'm showing you the way that I trade. It's up to you to take the trades and stuff like that. But yeah, we're not bullish right yet. You can take the trade for bullish anticipation, but it doesn't, those aren't going to work out as often as if you take the trade that's on the side of the near-term trend, right? If you get a breakout above all this stuff, then you can look for pullback entries. And it's going to be hard to find any pullback entries, right? Because these candles are so big and there's not much stuff going in there. But your currently weekly range looks like this, up. So currently on the week, you are moving higher. Also remember what I said yesterday. That is an area where you could potentially see resistance. because it is last week's open. Also, if you do not break out above that, if you're trading under it, then the bias is still structured to the downside. Today is Tuesday. Today or tomorrow could potentially mean that the low or high of week is in. If we keep seeing this weekly candle advance, then we could potentially say the low is in. But as of right now, it is structured bearishly. So, yeah, take that with a grain of salt, I guess, as most people do, right? But yeah, we're looking for resistance. I wouldn't be trying to take a short position if I was bullish. And the only reason that my bias has changed is because of where we currently sit inside of the overall market structure. Buenos dias, amigo. Buenos dias, Mr. Thomas. Good morning, Ed, the man. Heath, buddy, could you check Matic? Sure. Let's go look at Matic. You didn't say anything, so when you don't say anything, if you just give me a ticker, I'm going to look at it versus Tether. Because I usually trade the Tether contracts wherever USD is settled in Tether. You're currently at resistance and you're struggling to get above it. Same scenario on this asset as on Bitcoin and Ethereum. You are structured more bearish than bullish, but with Matic, you can see it hasn't been able to get any downside going. Last 2 weeks, previous week was really bullish. Last week, not so much. So currently, Tether does look like it is trying to resume being Matic is trying to resume to be bullish. There is your last week's open on Matic. You are trading above it. Also notice what you did last week, not this week, last week. You took out the previous big bearish week's low. That would have been the trade entry or any test of the support. There currently isn't a trade on it right now unless you think it's going to break down. You just took out, well, let's see here. How many days highs did you just take out? 1, 2, 3. So you've smoked the last 3 days highs? I don't know. This one doesn't look like it's structured more to the downside. It looks like it is trying to break out, but this would have been the area for looking for bullish entries or once you smoked last week's high. You can see how this candle opened and you pushed right back down there again. You had 2 chances there. 2 chances. But normally these things are going to do whatever Bitcoin does ultimately. So if Bitcoin does find resistance where it is, and Ethereum, and rolls over, and goes back down towards the weekly levels, the weekly low levels, it's going to look like resistance is being held. All right? Ethereum still looks good. Pushing into or getting ready to test intraday support. That is your profit target if you entered on the resistance. Let me turn on this fan. I'm already starting to sweat. It's going to make us hum, but it's hot in here, so. All right. Belthus says, sometimes you take a long or short position on support and resistance with stop at swing lows and swing highs, and other times you wait for swing low or swing high to be liquidated before you take a position. Yes. I just close my eyes and push my button, nerds, or push the buy button, nerds. Says Slothbag, yo, morning Heath, and others. Good morning, Mr. Joe. Could you check FXS? Got a nice monthly support break on weekly and retest. Yeah, let's go look at it. FXS. Don't know what that is. Looks like it may be a cryptocurrency. So FXS USDT. Yeah, it's busting to the top. Not much liquidity in it. I mean, your dailies. This is a spot price action, so you don't want to see gaps on it. But, I mean, it's structured to the bearish side. Even though, yes, today it is getting a little bit of a push, I expect it to be sold into, along with Bitcoin and Ethereum, until support is held. once again, since you did have a bullish engulfing on Bitcoin yesterday, you got to watch daily supply or demand. If daily demand holds on a daily closing basis, then you could potentially look to be a buyer in the attempt or in the expectations of a bullish breakout. But you're still trying to buy an asset that is clearly under heavy selling pressure. This looks weak to me. This looks like I would potentially be looking for sell entries around $6.12. SNX. Oh. Yeah. It's, it had a breakout yesterday. There's your current weekly test though. So your weekly still structured bearish. Traded right up to supply and rejected. I can't take a short on it right now, but I would have been watching up there for potential short entries. Yesterday was a big strong day, breaking out above the 21. So if you close back above the 21 today, then it's going to look more and more like support is in. Let's go back to Ethereum. You guys should be taking profits now. You have broken down below daily support. We want to see a lower push. Get this candle's midpoint roughly at around the support level, as that would indicate we're going to see further downside continuation. You may find support down here and even at the swing low, or at this swing high, apologies. So this is where you want to take profits. Fantastic trading. Good stuff. Best dating site on the web. officialtradetalk.com. Thank you, Mr. Ed. Instant matching. Could you look at MTRM versus wrapped ether? I don't know if I even have access to that chart. Let me see if I do. MTRM. There it is. Oof, this thing has literally no liquidity inside of it. I don't know what this is, what it does, why you would want to trade it, what the purpose of owning it is, but currently it's in a downtrend. Lots of big wicks here. I mean, that's a move. Let's see how big this wick is from wick high to wick low, just so we can get an idea of how dangerous this asset is. That's a 64% move in the span of one day. 64%. Very big mover. Be very careful trading it. It doesn't look like technical analysis applies to this. I mean, one could say potentially that support is there, but you've been taking out support with lower closes. So maybe there, I mean, I don't know what that number is, but maybe there you want to see that hold. But since it is like this, all gappy and disgusting, technical analysis isn't going to apply. It's because there's not much liquidity in the asset. You got to be careful trading these, because these are the assets where you can literally get your stop loss slipped. You need to trade stuff with liquidity in it, so that way wherever you put your stop loss, you get triggered. If you put your stop loss in this somewhere where there isn't any demand or supply, you will get missed. This is your intraday chart. I can't trade that at all. I don't know what this is. I would stay away from it. I mean, that's something like that, maybe. I don't know. Maybe on a different exchange, or a different even charting platform, this might look better, but it looks like crap currently. Here's Ethereum, nice push lower. Now we've got that midpoint right there, roughly around support. So kudos to you guys, whoever took the short entry. If you didn't take the short entry, do not FOMO into this right now. We had you getting short up here. I do not want you getting short down here. So if you missed it, just come back Thursday morning. We do this every Tuesdays and Thursdays for the public. We take trades live together. We do this all the time. So you do not have to lose money because of FOMO. The trade has happened. That was it. That's what we were looking for. We were looking for the downside expansion. We have gotten it. You're still up on the day, so this thing could find support anywhere now, right? The closer you get to this swing low, the more people are going to want to probably try and step up and get bullish. Your point of control still suggests the trade was a sell. That's why we were shorting it. All right? Looking good. Looking good. Love it when a plan comes together. What's up, Heat? Joining these live streams for the first time since I'm back home on EST. Love these and looking to take them more seriously. Yeah, we do take trades on this. We do it, right? It's just better for you guys when I'm telling you what I'm looking for, explaining the process, what's in my mind and all that stuff. Kind of gives you an idea of what you need to be looking for, right? So yeah, it's a successful trade. That's all we do. We nail it. One after another after another. Will S. Hurst, Mr. Will says, great trading. Yes, it is. Thanks for the TA, buddy. You are welcome. It's low cap moonshot gaming crypto. All right. I guess, I mean, if you're going to do that, then just do it with a little bit of money. I don't know what your current financial situation is, but like whatever amount of money that you don't care to lose. Say you make 50 grand a week. Well, then you could afford to take $2,000 and just buy it, right? And hope for the best. And if you lose it, it's not that big of a deal. If you make $1,000 a week, then maybe you should do 20 or 50 bucks, right? Something that's not totally going to destroy you if you get wrecked. And no leverage. Leverage is going to destroy most of you. Until you get a consistent trading process going, you don't want to be using leverage. Leverage can help though. For instance, a tiny move like that inside of a daily range could absolutely be, anywhere from 2 to 10 to 20 to 80% gain on the account. But that's not what you're looking for. You're looking to take consistent, profitable trades, and over time, you become profitable. Cheers again, Heath. Thank you. The usual schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. Yes, I am also Patreon. So what's that schedule like? Oh, we just go live every day in the Patreon. All right. If you're in, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. If you're in the Discord, so if you're at the hedge fund level on Patreon, we do live streams every day. Unless I'm really hungover or don't feel good, then we might not do a live stream. But I'm always in the Discord talking people through trades. If you're just like on the $5 Patreon or a channel member, then we do those live streams every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Every Sunday for the channel members and lower tier Patreons. Nice trade, says Mr. Epic, still number one. Thank you, my friend. I missed the trade. That's okay, Belthus. I promise you there is an opportunity almost every single day. I mean, across all the asset classes that we watch, there are multiple opportunities every single day. Missing a trade is not the end of the world. It is not. I miss so many trades every single day. It's not funny. I missed USD CAD, right? Looking for bullish entries on this. I just did not get what I needed in order to take that entry. So yeah, if this thing trades all the way up to this trend line by tomorrow, I'm going to be really upset. Mentally it sucks when you're right on a position but you don't get it for whatever reason. It always does suck. It still sucks, and it will suck forever. But you don't want to chase price ever, because you know that there will be another opportunity tomorrow or the next day. Usually what I'm looking to do, even as a day trader, I'm looking to take anywhere between 2 and 4 profitable trades per week. Because when you start getting over that, your percentages of win rates are going to start getting lower and lower and lower, because you don't know what price can or will do, right? We are taking trades based on probabilities. We're not taking trades based on what we think the market's going to do. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to think, will it be bullish or will it be bearish? I'm just saying, this is what it's been doing. So if it's going to continue in that direction, maybe right here would be a good place to nail that. and sometimes you're going to miss it. All right? It's okay. You never chase price, ever. Chasing price is going to get you wrecked. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. We just executed a fantastic little short trade on Ethereum. Other pairs that we were looking at as far as FX was USD CAD. It did not give us an entry, and USD JPY, this was where you wanted to take that entry. You can see that I have 2 white lines down here. Let me get rid of this. Based on what it's been doing in the past, this thing is extraordinarily bullish. Really, really bullish. So once you took out the low of day, you made a fresh low of day here, and now you're getting that bullish reaction. So your entry would have been there or here, right? That is intraday support until you close an hourly below it. Okay. Would I take an entry on this if we got a retest back down to there? Probably not, based on the size of that wick. Give me 1 second. All right, pardon me, I'm back. But yeah, we were watching here. So it's also about risk to reward. So you currently can see how price is acting as a ladder, right? That's usually what happens in a trending environment. So your up close candles is going to act as resistance. So you can't take the trade now because you're into potential resistance. And also your risk to reward would be, not so great with that big wick. So let me go back and read that comment, because I understand what the person is saying. I just kind of answered it with a smart ass yes and moved on. But that was, here, let me go back up and get it. Beltus Tanko, to answer your question. I've been doing this a very long time, and the strategy is, it's got a lot of moving parts to it, right? So like, I watch for entries, I'm looking at my daily and weekly levels. Those are the levels where I'm looking to take those potential entries. Now, I will also take entries if an asset is moving in a direction and we take out an old swing high or a swing low, because it's a liquidation is all it is. Sometimes traders get stopped out, especially new traders, because they're taking trades at those liquidation places, or they think that they need to rush on an open position and go ahead and get long or get short early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, where there's really no volume being traded. And then at 9:30, when the rest of the volume comes in for the day, you get a wick above yesterday's high, or if you're looking for longs, you get a wick below yesterday's low, and then it stops all the retail traders out, and then price does eventually go in that direction. Those are called liquidation attempts. Or not attempts, they are liquidations, right? Because every stop loss is getting triggered once you get above that daily low or daily high. Those are also areas where we will look for entries, right? But over time, you're not going to learn this if you just started watching the videos a couple weeks ago. I have people that have been following me for 2 years and they're still not quite there. It took years to iron out all this stuff. Years. But you will get there, and you do not have to pay $25 a month to me in order to get into the Discord to be successful. You can simply watch these videos, right? Because I don't put nothing back or hold nothing back, right? Everything I say in the Discord, I say here to the public live. Everything is the same. Consistency is key. So once you start getting consistent in the way that you do your entries and exits, your trading will start to turn around. It'll start to get much better. You have to reach consistency until you can reach profitability. If you're taking trades based on a bunch of, other stuff, descending wedges, ascending wedges, blah, 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 rising wedges, head and shoulders, cup and handles, bowl and spoons, lightning banana peels, whatever your favorite pattern is, you're never going to be consistent. So you need to figure out a trading plan that allows you to be consistent. If you do want to trade cup and handles or rising wedges or whatever, then only trade those. Don't trade every other pattern known to mankind. Trade one pattern and do that consistently, because then you can work out over time if the strategy is even profitable. Cup and handles and stuff like that probably work roughly 30% of the time, so you can become profitable. If you have really tight risk management, you can make a 1 in 10 win-loss record be profitable. I couldn't, but some people might be able to. If you have really good risk management, you can lose 9 trades in a row and still be profitable. It only takes one good trade to make your whole year also. And my style of trading is I'm looking for the intraday opportunities, but occasionally by just taking 2/3 of the position off and leaving 1/3 of the position on, that 1/3 position stays on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, because I ended up nailing a really good trade. So one that we were looking at yesterday during the Discord live stream was this thing. We took this trade during a channel members live stream on a Sunday. The channel members live stream once a week. We took this trade then. Let me go over here and pull it up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This trade ended up paying me more than most other trades because I was in it and I stayed in it. And you can see up there was my short entry. We discussed this. We took this entry on Sunday with the channel members. And we were in this trade for a very long time. You can see we got short at 278.67. At the lows, this thing was down to 99 bucks, right? Taking profits is hard. So what you do is you just trail your stop. Trail your stop. Eventually, your trailer is going to get smoked. My trailer got smoked up in here, so I'm no longer in this short. But those trades like that, they're gonna make your year, your whole year. Remember, as a day trader or as a swing trader, as a position trader, whatever kind of trader you are, your goal is to do better than 12% per year. I know that sounds like 12%. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. And it ain't really. But if you can squeak out 12% profitable gains year over year, it will be something. It will turn into a ton of money. But you want to beat 12% because that's what the SPX, that's just a buy and hold, right? You want to be able to beat the buy and hold strategy of just buying the SPX on dips and holding year after year after year. And there's not many traders out there that can do that. Now, obviously, trading this style, you're gonna make 12% sometimes in one trade. But in order to beat the S&P, you have to stop trading for the rest of the year if you are the type of person that ends up giving those gains back. So, yeah, there's a lot to it. It's not just about buy here, sell there. There's a lot more to it. It could be about that, but you're not going to find very much success in that kind of thing, in those kind of things, right? Let's go look at the S&P 500, see what it's doing this morning, as we were focusing mainly on today's trade. So since you don't have any real resistance levels or support levels here, what does that tell you looking at this chart? So let's get rid of this, and this. Just looking at this chart, there would be support. So you would be potentially looking for resistance there. And there's another swing low, right? So potentially looking for resistance there. So why did this just go up here and stop? Yeah, there's nothing here. So why did it stop there? That's because you just basically smoked yesterday's high. That's it. So there was no support or no resistance levels to look at there for that short. Literally, all it did was it smoked yesterday's high, traded up there for about 3 hours, and then broke down. So you would have been watching this price. And if you're patient, like I am, then you can wait until you get an hourly close back below it. And now also look what occurred. Since we know supply is here, you did get an entry right there. It was the same entry that we took on Ethereum. Not exactly the same, because Ethereum traded all the way up to the resistance, which would have been there. But you did test supply. And now you're rolling over. You see? And this isn't because of a daily level. This is because of yesterday's high. That's it. That's all that was there. So basically, anybody that got short here, or even here, is potentially stopped out. And all they had to do was wait for price to show them what it's looking to do. If you get continuation, you can't buy it. You just know it's not a short, right? Because if you're looking for shorts, which you probably are, because everybody and their brother's short right now, then you would want to do that. You would want to wait for price to show you what is it doing. So yeah, looking good. Potential support intraday 40.42, and then down here 40.28. So I don't think I would want to short this, because this is getting ready to test daily demand, and then daily supports down here. So if you did short it, you definitely want to start looking. Well, you can't short it unless you're trading the CFD. We can't trade CFDs in America. I think it's the most stupid freaking rule in the world. But we're just not allowed. I guess we're not, I don't know, good enough to trade CFDs. And it's no different than Forex. Most Forex brokers offer the CFD. It's retarded. It is what it is. But there's that. You're going to trade into that. Intraday, it's going to look like this. Right? So if you're going to continue this, I don't know if I'd call it an uptrend, but if you're going to continue it, then anywhere in here is going to look like a decent place to look for longs. And it's possible. It's absolutely possible. You're not going to take out the low of day, but you're going to take out a lot of people either way. And remember, this is all based on looking for dollar strength. Look at that trade now, man. See, the one thing that I've had a lot of, like, it's been difficult for me to be really successful at, is knowing, is the trade today or is it tomorrow? I told people in the Discord that this trade might not even be today. Tomorrow might be the perfect setup. But obviously, I mean, that's already good. That's a decent move in itself. And then USD CAD, that's the trade that I was looking for here. I just didn't get it. It just did not give me a fill. Didn't come in there. So yeah. Still looking good. Aussie dollar's pulling back pretty hard. That's because dollar's giving us a bounce. Euro USD looks to me like it's trying to build in a low, guys. So we are kind of looking for the dollar rally to fail. But right now it probably won't fail, because still, as of right now, if we go over here, bright screen, you can see that 75% of IG clients, IG is a broker here in America or an exchange, 75% of their traders are net short your USD JPY, right? So that means retail's trying to short this. They're trying to pick a top. What that also means is, that's the reason trends continue, is because it continuously is looking to stop out retail or whoever can be the most hurt. Sometimes it's the longs, sometimes it's the shorts. But you want to try to take trends or trades in the direction of the trend. That's why we're looking for bullish entries on USD JPY. And it still may give us a bullish entry. It may trade sideways for the rest of the day and then be trading in this area tomorrow. We'll see. If it is, we'll take it. And we'll be looking for the liquidation. But I think the liquidation hasn't occurred on USD JPY yet. This swing high right there is where retail gets smoked. But it has already happened on the DXY. So that high right there, boom. See how that little blue wick ran above it? And then you got a rejection instantly. So far, daily support still holding. That's going to be weekly resistance, I think. Yeah. So until you get above 108.835, this is still potentially, it could still roll over, right? Because you've liquidated that swing high. If you were going to roll over, then that's typically when you'll see it. Not always, though. If you start trading above 108.835, this is going higher. You're going to see bullish continuation. So let's see if we can find that on the euro. It looks like we're going to. Right. So euro is trading as an inside week. See, the dollar liquidated its swing high. So we should have seen this wick run lower than that. But we didn't. So this is trading as an inside week. Resistance there, support here. Moving on. Yeah, I don't know. It still looks bearish. And obviously the parity level is $1. That was acting as resistance. Today you're trading above it. If you get back under it and close under it today, this is going to be, you're going to be looking for shorts. Shorts to continue. This is also ETH never did hit the open of the day yet. You can see that you're still struggling here to get anything going lower. Now that might change at 9:30, which is about 30 minutes away. It might find resistance and then roll over again. But the last 2 days it's been bullish. And whenever Bitcoin and Ethereum gets bullish for multiple days in a row, people get FOMO. Hedge fund. Joe Blogs, hedge fund gets your Discord. Yes, the hedge fund tier. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but it's less than $1 a day. Less than $1 a day. And with inflation, that ain't much. Okay, Atom looks to be rolling over. Seem it lags Ethereum. Let's go check out Atom, because I like Atom for a long-term hold. So I am looking to be a buyer of it. But Atom's been looking good. It's a methodical trend. Not quite, you can't really get a trend line on it, but I mean, people are going to say that's a breakdown. Then you broke back out. Now you're back under. So just get rid of the trend line. Watch your prices, the levels that I teach you to watch. So this is what I got currently. We just took out July's high, right? So that's also going to be the open of August. We got the monthly close is tomorrow evening. My favorite time to trade is the yearly open, the monthlies open, and the quarterly opens. Those are my favorite times of the year to take trades, because we nailed the July low on Bitcoin, right? We just didn't get much of a bullish expansion, but we did get it. And if you remember when we were buying this low, this was our target. And you almost got there in August. Almost. Not quite, but damn near. And then boom, rejection. So, and with September coming up, we know that if you didn't see Saturday's upload, go watch it. It's only a couple minutes, or 10, 15 minutes long, but it goes over in depth, more over the macro of, what we can be looking for. Next month is the probabilities show that Septembers are usually weak for risk. And the SPX as well as Bitcoin. In Bitcoin's entire history, it's had 12 up September closes. Oh wait, sorry, it's had 12 Septembers and only 3 of them were bullish. Only 3 of them closed up. The rest of them were bearish. So a lot of people's looking for September to open, find a high somewhere, and roll over. But we also know that September is what's called the summer doldrums. So there's not a lot of volume being traded after August. July, August, September, October. There's a little bit of time there where the markets are just slow, sideways, because there's not a lot of trading going on. A lot of people's on vacations or whatnot. I think most vacations are over after September. October, November, and December is when you get a really big pickup of volume because you have end-of-year portfolio rebalancing going on at the end of the year. Taxes are coming up at the end of the year. So that's when a lot more volume comes back into the markets. So we're looking for September to be sideways. I wouldn't be surprised if September doesn't trade inside of August's range. Yeah. When we made this low, we assumed that was going to be the low for a while, and we were looking for sideways to slightly up trading. November, December is a good time for us to get either one final stab lower or start to trade a little bit higher and sideways. Good morning, everyone. Sister Tonka. Good morning, my friend. Nailed it. All right, got that. Is it usual? Yeah, we read that. I sent you an email. I will check it out, Mr. Epic. I'm pretty bad about reading my emails. I will look at it as soon as this live stream ends, I promise. We going short again on Bitcoin? No. No, the trade was earlier. The trade was when we took the trade on ETH. We can't short it now. And Bitcoin really didn't do much of anything, right? Ethereum had a nice little move, but Bitcoin didn't really do anything. Here's the open of the day. Right there. So you tested your open of the day, and that's where you're finding a little bit of support, which is normal. Did ETH touch its open? No. There's the open on ETH. So there's still a little bit potential downside left on ETH if it wants to go back and test the open. And there's nothing that says it has to. Obviously, it can stay trading where it is. But yeah, people's going to be looking for the bullish breakout. A bullish breakout above that would look a little bit better for them, both assets. Bitcoin doesn't really have that going on for itself. Maybe it does. Let's see. Yeah, it's getting close. I guess you could say it is a descending wedge. We don't look to trade patterns, but other people do, so a lot of people are looking for a bullish breakout here. I don't know if you'll get it. All right. It's been really weak the last couple weeks. But to be fair, today it's not getting the down move I thought we would see. I thought we'd at least go down, test the open. That's also why I was looking at this asset instead of Bitcoin, because it had a much bigger move to go get to the open. Do you think, yeah, it has been. Pumpkin, do you think Bitcoin will follow SPX US30 for short-term, medium-term? Yeah, it has been, right? I mean, Bitcoin suffered a lot more losses than the SPX, but that's normal. That's par for the course. Every single bull market phase for Bitcoin has seen a bear market phase and exhausted like 84% of the bull market, the gains. So Bitcoin still hasn't hit 80% drawdowns. 74% was the lowest it got. That could be the low. I don't think you're going to see much lower than 80%. And historically, I mean, you can see that right here. We've been seeing a little bit more the last couple of weeks here. You've been seeing more outflows than inflows, which you can see that by the chart. But typically when we're in this region down here, on the MVRVZ score, that is typically when you want to be a buyer. In history, that has been the place to be a buyer. All right. Obviously, it can get lower than it's just in this region is when you wanted to be a buyer. And the same goes for the weekly RSI and the weekly 200 simple moving average. Anytime you've been under it, that's typically been when you wanted to stop being a bear and start accumulating. You want to be an accumulator now, not a seller. Accumulator. It still looks bad, right? We were above it, but just couldn't get anything going. Now you're back under it. But, you know, this is where you want to be a buyer. There, you wanted to be a buyer. There, you wanted to be a buyer. And if you go look at the BLX, it looks the same across the entirety of its history. Right? 200 simple, been a buyer, 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 buyer. And it just keeps trending up. Will it happen again? I don't know, but that's the trend. So we're going to trade it like it's going to happen again. Us looking for near-term shorts, that's just being a day trader. But as far as my hodl position, my position where I just buy and accumulate Bitcoin, there's no leverage on that. It's just Bitcoin that I own. And I have been a heavy buyer down here. Oops. And a heavy trader. Because my Bitcoin gains that I make trading the inverse swap contract, I just buy more spot. I use FX and stocks to generate dollars. I like bowl and spoons. Bowl and spoons pattern. What's the difference between hedge fund and investment banker? Just go for the hedge fund. The investment banker was just set up for people that wanted to give more, that, you know what I mean? The hedge fund gets you the Discord. Investment banker just makes you a baller in the Discord. It's just set up for donations, essentially. That's all that Patreon was set up for. But if you want to inside a Discord, just go with the hedge fund tier. You're a legend for putting it all into context. Nobody on YouTube does that. The long game's so important. It is. Heath is the best in the game, full stop. Thank you guys for that. I took short at 23K, took 25% off channel support. Since it broke the channel, I haven't taken any profits. I feel like I should have. At what levels would you take profits? Alright, so let's go look at 23K. You know, not a bad place to look for a short. You feel like you should have taken more profits. Typically, you want to take profits on big down days if you're short. This looks like you're a longer term trader, which is fine, which is beautiful. So let's just say you got short roughly in there. I would have definitely taken profits. I'd have been scaling out on this day because that's a big down day. And typically after big down days, you get big bullish days. It didn't really happen for a whole week. And then you got another big down day. So the object of taking profits when you're in a profitable position is to take them, you know, as low as you can. Since you don't know where price is going to go, it's just a good, you know, wherever. If you're down 4 or 5% on the day, take profits, obviously. Because the next day you're probably going to be up 1 or 2%. And it could go that way for 3 or 4 days, and then boom, you get another big down day. The object is to take profits as the candle is trending lower. What I typically do is I look to take those profits at old supports. So here I would have been scaling out. As this day, I wouldn't have thought that this day would have gotten down there. Let's be clear, right? So more than likely, I would have been taking profits here, right in this area, then again down here. Then I just go lower over on the chart there. You know what I'm saying? And just keep doing that. Just keep taking a little bit here and there. I take a lot at the beginning, so that way the position size can still remain relatively large for any downside continuation. And then when the money that I'm sitting in with the unrealized profit, if it becomes what I consider to be extensive, then I'll take more. I'll cut that position in half. Just go ahead and take 50% more right off the table. And then see if you stay in the trend long enough, then and it gets to be, a big amount again, then you can cut it down in half again. But then you would literally need a massive move. Learning how to take profits is difficult because we don't know where price is going to go. If you take profits too early, then you miss out on a big move if you get a big move. So, in this environment, it's choppy sideways. It's best to just take profits quicker, if you will, right? Because we don't know if you're going to get continuation to the downside or to the upside. This can find support right here and go right back up to 24K. It's not likely or probable with, a few other things that's going on, but it could happen, right? All you need is really some really good news outside of the Fed, and you're going to get one of the biggest bullish candles you've seen in a long time. But that's likely not going to happen because of the environment we're in. But yeah, taking profits is difficult. Just build a system, a rules-based system, and stick to that, all right? And then over time, you will be able to look back in time and history and see, is this even profitable? If not, could I tweak it? Could I do this? Could I do that? Until you get like the perfect system for yourself. Yes, also, yes, please, good Wes, wait till the 1st of the month. I do not have control over when Patreon bills you guys. They bill you on the 1st of the month. So if you buy it today, tomorrow you're going to get charged again for September. So just wait until the 1st. If you read everything, like just go to the Hedge Fund tier, read it. It tells you that to wait until the 1st of the month. That way you don't get billed again. And then you can decide if you want to do it next month. There's no strings attached. Why can't I see it on my YouTube screen? Don't know what you're talking about. 100% I've been playing here on YouTube. This chat just glitched. When will you buy Adam, Heath? I should have bought it when Bitcoin put in this low, or when Bitcoin made this low. I should have been a buyer on Adam since June the 18th. All right. So now let's go back and look at it. Let's just use USD on the Coinbase data feed. So now I'll probably wait if we get pullbacks, right? There's no support in there. So great. I'll probably buy it here at 10:30, and then if it wants to go lower, I'll buy it there, and then if it keeps going lower, I'll just buy it, right? I think Adam will be worth $100 one day. When? I don't know. This year? No. Next year? No. But one day, 10, 15 years from now, Adam will probably be worth $100. And if you buy it at $5, $6, $8, $10, that's going to be a pretty good return. If it does it. These are companies. Every crypto asset is just a stock, essentially. It's a company. Ethereum is a company. Atom is a company. ADA is a company. They're all companies. So if the company does good, then the asset should increase in value over time. If the company is shit, like most cryptocurrencies, then it just goes in one direction and it's straight down. And some are rug pulls. Some are fake. Some aren't even real companies. And then they just, rug pull. Once the owner of the company becomes a billionaire, like the guy did with Luna, and just go ahead and smokes everybody. Goes ahead and drops all liquidity. Becomes a billionaire. He was a billionaire on paper, but once he liquidated his assets, he became a billionaire for real. Right? So it just depends on the company, how good they do over time, how good is their product. Their product is Atom. So how good is that? What does the white papers look like? What is their strategy over time for the company? What do they see in the future? Things like that. You need good outlooks. They need to be a useful tool for something, anything. Just it needs to be useful and people need to see value. If people see value there, then it'll grow. It'll get higher and higher. So far, the overall chart on Atom looks okay. But this is Coinbase Exchange. If I pull up Binance, it probably looks like garbage. No, it's about the same. So it looks like it ICO'd roughly around the same time. Also, guys, I use Bitget as the exchange that I use because I am an active day trader. Bitget has the least fees. Some of these cryptos exchanges, depending on how much leverage you use, the fees are absolutely terrible. Like, you can be up 10% on a trade winning it and then get out of the trade and your P&L goes down. Like, that's how bad some fees can be across some exchanges. Bitget has the lowest fees out of every exchange. They be Binance, Kraken, KuCoin, all of them. They're the cheapest. They also have no KYC, so you don't have to give them your identification or anything. You can just send it from cold storage to there and then back from there to your cold storage seamlessly. Transition is sweet, smooth. Fantastic exchange. It's not clunky. The entries, exits work really good. There's not much slippage. I have experienced a little bit of slippage, but not much. Usually I get filled the entire position at the price I want, but sometimes I'll see the entries go in increments, or so I don't know what that's about, but it's not bad. Usually my position is at one price, which is fantastic. They're just a really good exchange. There is a referral code. It is a referral link, so I will make money if you use it and trade on the platform. So just keep that in mind. But if you do that, please use referral code XTSC. Use my link in the description, code XTSC. It's a fantastic exchange. Now, would I put my life savings on them? No, right? Because it's offshore. And being an American and seeing so many crypto exchanges smoke people, no. But I do have a substantial amount of money over there. So only put on the amount of money that you can afford to lose, and then grow that by trading consistently profitable. Then you can take profits, put the account back to a normal size, do it all over again, right? That's the goal. Don't put a ton of money over there at first. They have leverage on some assets that go as high as 125x if that's your game. It is not mine. I did play with it for about a month, and I could not make it profitable. I just couldn't. I would hit these 10, 15, 20% wins, and that's on the account, and then market order out, and like I said, not hardly see any gain on the P&L at all with a 20% win. Think about that. So using 125x leverage, A, is also very, very dangerous. B, it's very difficult to generate consistent profits. You almost need to hit like 100, 200% gains just to make money. I suggest you use 5x leverage if you're going to use leverage. Something small, something you can squeak out consistent profits. That's the goal. But there is a referral code in the description. Let's go take a look at Euro, see what it's doing. We're just waiting for the open. We think that we're going to see a continuation downside move, more than likely on Ethereum, Bitcoin, SPX. Dollar's going to see a little bit of a pop. If that's the case, then we should see a little bit of a drop on the Euro. But it's actually under last week's open currently. Not really doing anything. Let me get rid of this damn 200 week. Not really doing anything today. You did get a little bit of a spike, a little bit of a pullback. You're struggling at hourly supply, which also is last week's open. See? There. There. So that's currently what's going on there. But last hour's candle looks great. The fact that you're almost back up at the highs is, you could see this thing go. Maybe the dollar is losing its strength. And if it does, Euro is going to be one of the most fantastic assets to be in because of this freaking massive downtrend that it's been in for the last 2 years. Year and a half. All right? So it is one of my favorite assets for long. I just need to see it hold support. I need to see the dollar come off. And if that occurs, SPX, Bitcoin, everything else will start to get bullish. currently that is not what is happening. So it might still be a couple months out on buying euro. But I will let you know, right? That's why that I do the public live streams twice a week, to let you guys know what positions I'm in, what positions I'm looking to take. Not all of them are going to be day trades. I do take position trades. Euro is going to be a position trade. Also another one, pound dollar. But if you look at pound dollar, it's disgusting its entire life. People that's been with the channel for a long time, they know that we were watching this trend line on the quarterly chart on pound. Now it has to be on log. If you take it off log, this trend line was broken out above. But on log, you can see how these 4 or 5 quarters here traded at and around this trend line. What I was looking for was a bullish candle close above it. Then we were going to look for the breakout and potentially see prices up into 1.56 and even up to 166. But once we put in this bearish candle, the next 2 quarters we were looking for shorts because it failed. And that ended up being a pretty damn good short. As you can see, the next 3 quarters just been straight down. Boom, boom, boom. You're about to make all-time lows on pound. So it's not my favorite asset to look for bullishness, but I mean, it's been beaten up pretty bad. This says a lot about the British government. The fact that their currency just goes straight down. What's up with that? Euro does pretty good. About the same thing there. Just straight down. DXY has a lot more data, right? You can see that it ain't straight down, but it's pretty close. It's coming into a pretty big area of resistance, so I'm looking for the trend to slowly start to wane. There is no trend line here. I guess it did hold, to be fair. Look at that quarter. That is a strong quarter. Last quarter was strong. This quarter was strong. Broke out was last quarter, or the breakout. But like I said, you're coming into old areas of potential support, so we're looking for this thing to probably start to get weak. There's an obvious support. Older support could potentially be resistance. But since this 2008, this thing has been pretty much trending to the upside. Because the U.S. is the strongest economy in the world. For now. China may beat them here in a minute, though. Where is that? Let me get this pulled back up so I can exit it out. Thank you. All right. Let's look at China's currency. We were watching this as well for a long time ago. It does pretty much the same thing. It's going up. I wanted weekly, monthly. We were watching it down here to get long. It looks like this on the daily. Right in here. It was trading sideways for so very long, and we were looking for it to get that bullish strength. And it did. I just missed it because I quit looking at it. But we were looking for bullish entries on it. I did take a couple swings at it and I got stopped out after taking profitable trades, but just couldn't get myself positioned for the breakout. But I was looking for the breakout because China's economy is strong too. Definitely not the yen. The yen's getting beat up. We could potentially start looking for it to find some lows. But they haven't really said anything that would suggest to start looking for lows yet. They're still very dovish. As long as they're dovish, that's what their asset looks like, their currency. So I don't want to hold that long, not yet. Not till it finds the low. For another 28 days, moving to Mexico. What do you mean instant matching? Jimenez and Joe Blogs. Alright, we got 5 minutes left. Let's get back over here. Not a lot going on. I want to see if this thing finds support. Got it there. So we'll get rid of that. Look how the point of control is. Has it migrated a little bit lower? No, not really. That's about where it was when we took the short. Dollar struggling at supply. We shouldn't do that. We should get the weekly levels first. Weekly resistance is there. Long way from weekly support, so we kind of don't need it. Daily support is right here. Boom. And intraday, you're struggling right there. Let's give it a second. See what happens. Let's watch the SPY instead of the SPX. Let's see what happens here. Let me go ahead and put this table down. Alrighty, let's see what happens here. Getting ready to get the open on the New York Stock Exchange. We just want to see how everything works out. Yesterday everything was pretty sideways and choppy, so we don't want to necessarily see the same thing. Today we want to see the expansion. Whether it's bullish or bearish, we want to see an expansion. Currently we were watching the SPX for it to push up for an area just for us to get short. It hasn't made it there yet. I'll show you that while we're waiting. So since we had, a pretty big bullish week last week, bearish week, we were watching for it to potentially trade up to this area, which was just roughly the 50% retracement of last week's candle. So right now you're at support on the weekly time frame. See that? You're at the weekly open. So this thing could get extremely bullish here in a second. And that's why it was so important for you to take profits on Ethereum. Because if SPX does see a pretty big range expansion, bullish range expansion, then you're probably going to see that happen on them as well. And that's the weekly open. But we didn't get a high enough push to look for shorts yet on it. We might not get it this week, right? It might trade sideways to up until it gets into this region. And then when it gets up in that region, we're going to revisit the short as long as it stays under the 21 on the daily. Once it gets above the 21 on the daily, then things change. Things change. Accumulator. Yeah, be an accumulator. You might as well. At the lows. Wait for the lows and buy a little piece. Wait for the lows. I mean, you can do that multiple ways, right? You can set it up on Coinbase where it takes 20 bucks out of your checking account every single week. Or however, just start accumulating Bitcoin. Little pieces, whatever you can afford. You don't want to get gangster and sink your entire life savings into it, but you can build piece at a time. One piece at a time. So it is 9:30. Not really seeing much of anything go on. I do want to give it a quick look over here on the hot list and see if we got any big runners. We do currently. Let's get him over here. That's a nice little pop. Once again, this stupid crap. I have already done this multiple times. Not a lot of volume in it, but today there's a ton of volume in it. For whatever reason, let's see if it can hold those gains. And already you're getting a big drop. So you opened at 395 all the way down to 378. Let's check it on the daily. You're into resistance. That's why you're dropping. Look at that. You don't get no better. Boom. You traded above it for most of pre-market. Now when the market opens, you're seeing real volume come in. So 394 would be the place to look for shorts if you can get them. Be careful shorting these low float penny stocks because they can rip your face off. I don't know if you can even get it. I don't even know if it is a low float. Mobile Global Esports. I don't know what that is. But it is the biggest runner on the day. This thing is down 72%. RBCN. Down 70% on the day. Do not look to short that. A point of control is right there, so it looks like people are still looking for short entries. But remember, the SPX is at the weekly open. Right there's your weekly open. There goes your pop to the upside. SPX lagging. Wouldn't be a bad spot, maybe be buyer on SPY. I don't have my other laptop. I don't have my laptop, so I can't give you the expiration to look to be a buyer, but around the 403 strike or 402 strike, maybe. We gotta see if it holds support here. It needs to hold support. Oh yeah, that's also hourly support. The fact that you did get a pop and now you're right back down to it doesn't look great. That's also going to be the weekly high up there. That doesn't look great. Bitcoin, Ethereum getting a pop. This is on Orlando, so we can look at the volume. A lot of buying going on at the weekly open. Tons of volume being thrown down right there. Let's give it a second. See if this is going to be the low. I don't know though. I typically don't like these spikes on Bitcoin and Ethereum. They don't always end up being good news. You think how comes tomorrow then? I don't know what how is. Mr. Will. Wes just crushed that short first trade of the week. I'm giving myself 2 more. Be selective, yes, for sure. September 2nd party is over. I see risk trying to make a high. And it looks like it's trying to make the weekly high. I had a baby right before the USD-CHN move as well. CNH, yeah. It stinks, man. We missed USD-JPY breakout. We missed that breakout. You're going to miss trades, guys. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. I hope you're talking to Wes, Mr. Will, because I've already answered that question to you multiple times. We got to get above the daily 21 before I become a bull. Before I'll even look for bullish trades. So we got Bitcoin and Ethereum spiking on the New York Open, but SPX and SPY struggling a little bit. But if you take out that 5-minute candle high, then it's going to look good. Also, remember, this is the weekly open. So if you're going to see bullish continuation, here is where you should see it. And it could trade under it for a little while before it does finally get the pop. If these start to roll back over, then it's not going to look like you're going to see a bullish day on SPY or SPX. Maybe a little bit more choppiness. Because this day was a very big down day. That was Friday. Yesterday you didn't really do nothing. And today is Tuesday, so the weekly low isn't far away on the SPY. Right? This would be your weekly low. So maybe you get down there and then find resist or support. Spike below that and then start to climb. So maybe wait or look for 400 strike calls. If you're bullish, I wouldn't be, right? We're looking for it to get up so we can short it. What's up, Aaron? Better late than never. Yeah, that's true. We're just kind of watching here to see if SPY wants to make a fresh weekly low. The fresh weekly low on the SPY would be this. It wouldn't look very good if it did. And we already took a profitable trade on Ethereum. We got short right there. It wasn't a big trade. It wasn't a magnificent trade. But it was what we were looking for. Down here was hourly support, so that's where we were looking to take profits. And now we know this is the yesterday's low, which is also the weekly low on the SPY. We'll just stretch it out. I don't think you'll get down there if it's going to be bullish today, but I don't know if it's going to be bullish. Yesterday it didn't do snot. It did nothing, literally all day, just chopped. High of week, my man. Oh, high of week. How? Gotcha. No, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if you make a fresh high on the day today on Bitcoin and Ethereum, then yeah. But, like, remember, I bought the weekly open, so the low of week could be in as well. It works both ways. Usually by Tuesday, the high or low is in. I don't know which. But you can make trading decisions based on that knowledge. I would be more bullish right now on the SPY than I would be bearish because we're at the weekly open. If it starts to drop, hard, then it looks like it wants to be a bear for the rest of the week. But you didn't really do much so far. Today is Tuesday. Is it the weekly high in or is the weekly low in? That's a good question. I leave it up to you to decide. Here is the open. And if you're trading around the open, there's your low of day on the SPX. The SPY has already made fresh low of days because it closes and opens. This is traded 24/7 or 24/5. So yeah. We had a short bias going into the day. The one thing I don't like is that you did get a spike from this when you got back to it. You did get a spike and it was immediately hammered right back down. But that's just par for the course from, choppy price action. Yesterday you didn't do nothing. Friday was such a big range day. It'll take a couple days probably for this thing to get any kind of momentum one direction or the other. But as long as you're trading around the weekly open, you got to be careful. You're in the middle, so you can't, you can't really do anything here. Unless it finds and makes an obvious support. Currently, our demand, intraday demand, is there. The SPY has been open for 15 minutes and has got literally nothing going to the downside or to the upside. If you are still holding this short and you didn't take profits, you might want to do it as this is pushing down. Because if this does hold support and you get a spike, Bitcoin and Ethereum is going to run. Ethereum is still up on the day, so it is still bullish on the daily range. Bitcoin is up on the day. SPY is up on the day. But the SPX barely up. And with the weekly open being right there, this could be a fantastic place to look for risk. We're going to keep an eye on it. We ain't got nothing else to do, baby. This is what we do. Also, notice how point of control, it's closer to the low than it is to the high, right? So much more volume being thrown down today around the weekly open. Is it buy volume or sell volume? We can know by just putting it's sell volume. Yeah. Both of your biggest volume nodes today are selling, is more angled to the downside. Blue is the buy. Watch these numbers here as I scroll on the cursor, see how they change, or put the cursor on the volume nodes. Yellow is sell side, blue is buy side. Now SPY's getting a move to the downside. It looks like we're looking for a fresh low on the day, but even down there, it could bounce. It was a good trade this morning on Ethereum. Getting that continuation. Speaking to Wes, bro, gotcha. You said you were patient. I'm just making sure you are. Gotcha. DPX at daily open. What is DPX? What's the other ones doing? Let's just give us a look. Indices. Dow Jones barely up. The IWM down. Rut down, which the rut is the IWM. It's the Russell index, which is mid cap, small cap. US 30 down. ES minis up. NASDAQ minis up. There's the low of day. Not quite got a fresh low of day yet. And that's the low of week on the SPY. That's your low of the week. This week. The current week that we're on. Yeah, nice little downside continuation. But we will wrap it up around 10 o'clock. But before we do, we're going to discuss a little bit about USD JPY this morning. How I basically used all the analysis that I had with the data that I had to help me make the decision to not buy it just yet. It ended up being the bad decision though, right? Because after it made a fresh low of the day, it bounced. The SPX is into intraday support. It's looking to push down and make a fresh low on the day, which means anybody that got long today will be stuck. Boom, there's your fresh low of day right there. Boom. And yesterday's volume point of control, you could still see a bullish push from there. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it could. After liquidating today's low, yeah, you could absolutely start to get a push. The SPY, after not doing anything the first 10 minutes of the open, has now gotten that push lower. That demand did not hold. Tomorrow is the monthly close. Tomorrow evening. So let's look at what this looks like on the month. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, yeah. That's not terrible. But we'll see if we get more continuation. Ethereum almost fresh low. It's not the low of day, just a fresh low of the New York session. Because both of those assets are still up. Bitcoin is getting really close to its open though. Bitcoin may be red on the day. Well, it may be red on the day once it gets down in here. Almost at the open. 0.05%. And Ethereum's almost down there as well. I mean, Ethereum was the bigger mover today. That's why we took the trade on Ethereum. Alright, let's go back over here. That's the weekly. We know that. After making a fresh daily low. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't know if I'd have bought it based on what happened already today. It looks like you want to see more downside. Trade Talk, you market order on Bitget? Not really. You will get cheaper fees if you don't. I was playing around with it to see, just how bad the fees are if you market order, and they're pretty bad. Right? But it has something to do with, being a maker or taker fees. The fees are really not as good if you limit out. It's much cheaper on your position by limiting in and limiting out. All of September will be continuation, says Awake Hip Hop. It could be. It absolutely could be. SPX bounced off the 382 fib from above. Yeah, it's possible. I don't like to short when you just get a small retrace like that. Ethereum was all the way up to the 618 of last week's range. That's why we were looking to short it today. Bitcoin hasn't even gotten to the 50% retracement yet. And you got a fresh low on the day. So if you could turn right around and become bullish for the rest of the day on this asset. After liquidating a fresh low or after making a fresh low, sometimes they will get bullish. And if you, well, I can't look at it down here. Let's put it up here and just see what it looks like. USD JPY coming off pretty hard. Is the dollar coming off hard? No. It did come off a little bit, but not hard. It has to be Japanese getting a bounce. The Japanese yen getting a bounce. But let's just look at this. Let's just see if it's, made it to its expected move or not. For some reason, my internet sucks so bad, this thing has a hard time getting pulled up. Well, we'll watch something else until it happens or don't happen. See how all the names are gone? It's thinking. Boom, it did. So this indicator is just like a probable move indicator, similar to what you would see on, like, I don't know, Bollinger Bands. It shows you when expansion of volatility occurs. So it did get a little bit of expansion yesterday. Volatility came in and then it got crushed. Today you traded well up to the top end of the probable range and then straight back down to the low end of the probable range. But you can see how the volatility metrics on the low side are trending up. Just from here, right? Not from over there, but from here. It's been kind of trending to the upside. So looking to take longs or shorts right now would be a good time to look for longs on the SPX or the SPY. Simply because you've taken out the top and the bottom of the probable range. This, not so much. Kinda, but not really. Yeah, to be fair, you did hit oversold just barely. That's typically, you don't want to look to take new positions there, but you definitely want to take profits there. Because it could bounce up back to the 50 and then get another push lower, whereas price doesn't really do anything, right? And then gets another stab lower. You can see how over here you broke completely down outside of it and stayed outside of it. But that was a very aggressive move to the downside Friday. Very aggressive. I mean, you couldn't even get back out of the bottom bands of the probable range. Very aggressive. But, when it's not super aggressive, it does pretty good staying inside. Yeah, just one of those things. It's basically the same thing as that indicator down there. You don't want to be a buyer at overbought, right? You want to be a seller up there, but not to take a new short position, more or less to exit a position. There's your low currently of the day on the SPY. Let's see if it wants to push lower. Why do we got two SPYs? Bitcoin just trading near the open of the day. You got a new low on the SPY? No. No, now you do. This is the weekly low on the SPY. Let's see where the weekly low is on the SPX. Not far, because yesterday didn't do nothing. There's yesterday's range. You did nothing. So today you liquidated the high. I wouldn't be, yeah, fine. You go down, liquidate yesterday's low. Be on the safe side. Don't look for any positions until then. You're not, I don't think you're going to do that on Bitcoin or Ethereum. You could slowly trend lower the rest of the day, but SPY is coming into an area where SPX is going to find some resistance. I mean support. Yesterday you didn't do anything on the SPY. So let's go do it. I wonder if that's not considered the low of the week, right? Because it's inside of the non-normal trading hours. But it is on this because it's 24 hours. Alright, so everything looks like it just wants to drift lower. By 11 o'clock, you will know if the lower high is in on the SPY. And it'll probably be the high. That's going to be your high of the day. There. So you don't have to go very far to liquidate yesterday's low or today's high. See that? SPX bounced off of. ETH is the better asset. It does move more. What's the name of this indicator? It's a mean reversion. It is this right here. Mean reversion channel dash Fareed's MRI variant. And then Fareed is the man that built it. There's 4,600 people on TradingView using it. You can pause it if you need to, but if you type all that in, you're going to find it. If you type this stuff in right here, mean reversion channel, you're going to find it. With Fareed's MRI variant. But like I said, I mean, you can just look at the RSI. It's going to tell you the same information. You are welcome. It is my pleasure. So, I mean, it's a difficult trade to take because you know, it looked like you were going to see a little bit of buying transpire there. That is your weekly open. You had a lot of volume thrown down there, but the volume was sell volume. So let's go talk about USD JPY for a second, and then we'll wrap it up. Because it has been a decent session. We nailed a successful trade. We'll be looking for one tomorrow. Let's just look at NZD CAD for a second. So it does look like it found resistance there. We were watching it this morning for a short, even though it was extremely strong. I didn't like it because it was extremely strong on the day, but you can see that you did not close an hourly above supply. Not yet. So this trade might still be on the table. I don't know if it is because you got a bullish engulfing now. So, and it was very strong today. Be very careful. That is monthly support. If you look at the monthly real quick, you can see it is right there. Tomorrow is the monthly close. With that big tall wick like that, you would generally want to see it close under support. Be careful if you do take the NZD CAD short. Boom, what was that all about? And then that, I don't remember what that line is. Oh, it's daily supply. Kind of acting as support. Yeah, that bear candle right there is a trap, or could potentially be a trap. Watch your close. Closing hourly above that, it is not a short. But here's USD JPY. We were looking for a long. It's bullish on the daily. It's bullish on the weekly. You're trading above weekly resistance. So what we were doing is we were looking for support. Here is what the point of control looks like on this asset now. Oh wait, I can't do it on this one. I have to go to Oanda. Right? Point of control was trading above where our support were. We looking to get bullish. And since we closed below hourly support, we weren't looking for bullish entries anymore. I said I still like the bullish trade, but maybe it's not today. Maybe it's tomorrow, because it looks like the selling took place up there. But now you're right back at it. So we could still potentially watch, because if you, this is your daily range, the blue box. You can see that today you're trading as an inside day. You're inside of yesterday's range. Yesterday was a big ass day. Today's not. So we could still potentially catch a long trade on this tomorrow, wherever it closes. We'll see where it closes, and we'll have new info to go on tomorrow. But yeah, just a few things that we were looking at to basically help us with our bias, to help us with the decision on if we wanted to take it then or not. But it did end up being a good long trade after you made a fresh daily low right there. Boom. That was a fresh daily low. Not too fresh. I mean, that was put in during the London session. So that's going to be your London session high, your London session low, new low, up instantly. The market is constantly looking to liquefy everybody, or as many people as it can. Also, the reason we have a long bias on this is because 75% of retail is trying to short it. Because retail always tries to pick the top and the bottom of the markets. Occasionally I do too, right? But it's generally not the best thing in the world to do. I thought this asset was done when it put in this vicious move to the downside. But we have traded right back up. So it looks like it was aiming at the liquidation of that swing high. The DXY has already liquidated its swing high here. So yeah, it kind of looks like you're looking for bullish continuation. If it was going to be a short, it would have liquidated yesterday, and today you would have seen more downside continuation. And then we could look to sell it. Look for a lower high to sell into. But what we're currently doing right now, this is a bull flag, essentially. Right? And after the liquidation yesterday, you're still trading up on the day. But you are into daily resistance, and you did bounce off of daily support. Once again, very small range day today compared to yesterday's range expansion. All right. So that's what we were looking for. Maybe tomorrow we can find support on it. The short on Ethereum, hopefully you took profits. We took this trade live. Hopefully you guys took profits and you still have a little bit on just in case you get more downside continuation, right? A little trade can turn into a big trade. And this kind of trading is the best because you have no risk on the table outside of the unrealized P&L that you're currently sitting on. But just pretend that's not even there. If you close an hourly back above this, then you can think about going ahead and closing the entire position down. Or if your stop is at break even, you don't have to do anything. Just wait till the position gets stopped out. You've already made money on the trade. So now whatever it does, it doesn't even matter. All right. You guys have a fantastic day. Sorry for the clap right in the mic. That's a rookie mistake. This mic sucks also, but we're going to get a new one soon. You guys have a fantastic day. If you got any questions that you need to ask me that you can't ask Tuesday or Thursday, then drop it down in the comment section. I will always answer those questions. Have a fantastic day. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.